Hey there, welcome to episode 114. This is Tracy with Color Me This. We're on our weekly review of the Daily Color, of which this week we did 3 projects, and we used 6 sets of pencils. We're going through alphabetically. I did not pick any professional pencils because I actually instead filled in with a metallic set. Actually, I did 2 metallic sets because my sets are pretty small. So we will get into them when we hit that page. So the first set that we completed, the first page we completed with the Brit Funer 520 flower box set. I absolutely love this set. I have all 520 pencils. I thought I was missing one, and I have shared that all. You can go back a few episodes to where I finished these. I finished them very specifically for this page. It took 2.5 days of swatching, and that was a lot of swatching. 520 pencils is a lot of pencils. Whether or not I need all 520 pencils, that remains to be seen. But what I did was pick a variety of colors, light, medium, and dark. I knew that these were very small images, so I was not concerned with making blends that went out 5, 6, 7 pencils. 3 pencils felt like it would be enough, and I believe I only picked I'm seeing 3 different green tones, like a blue-green, an olive green, and a leaf green, I believe. And I have already gone through this individually. I've done on the first 6, I added little bits of white. I have not gone back to do any more. It was very difficult to get any of the very delicate white dots to show. As far as a favorite goes, I believe that I really love this particular blend. I love how this came out. And I think that the blues, aquas, and reds are my favorites, which is funny because purple and green are usually a favorite. And I didn't like this one, and I still don't. The colors that I put on, I just was a little bit too lackadaisical when I put them on. And I did think of going back. My butterfly is iridescent colored, and I was going to go back through and put some Wink of Stella on, and I never did. But I think that's okay, because these are just 35 very small images. I also like this one a lot. Lovely pencils to use. All of them sharpened beautifully. They blended like a dream. Very nice pencils. The next page is Castle Arts. I have not used the soft touch, so these 3 are my soft touch. And here's where, instead of going with a professional set for the week, I went with a metallic for the week, which I have never done any metallic coloring in a color. Well, I haven't until this book done any coloring in a coloring book, but I've not even used metallics to do any projects, except as accents that I used for some art papers that were going to be for journals and for making cards. So starting first with the soft touch pencils, you will see that I went back through and did some embellishing. The embellishing went horribly. I used this fairly well-aged gel pen, extra fine tip Artistro. It has been around for quite some time, and it decided to be very blobby. I had to erase and wipe off blobs. Then had to go wash my hands. And here's all of the extra blobs. Like, that just is a random blob. It just blobbed. And then when I put the lid on, it blobbed. And here's me. I did some on the boat today, the boat that I did. I actually did some colorless blender work, and this is me cleaning the tip off. So very unhappy with my embellishing on these three, the dots were just way too big and I could not get them delicate enough. So over here with the metallics, what I liked the most about the metallics right after I had done the soft touch is the metallics. They have mica in them, so they have that sort of polychromo silky-ish feeling, like little beads of sand rubbing along the paper, where the soft touch pencils, they kind of grabbed the paper. They were a little bit of a, I could feel them on the tooth. They did not glide over the tooth nicely. And I had already mentioned when I did these three, or I did the two, and the third one I did just now. So after using 5 other sets of pencils, including the Brute Funeral on the previous page, this was the last image that I did, and I'm gonna have to say, of all of the sets that I used this week of the 6, my least favorite was the soft touch. And I could not get a smooth lay down. Usually I can take a very light color in that set and get a nice blend, and I could not get rid of the tooth. So that's why I originally brought out this Prismacolor colorless blender, was because I was having a hard time with the soft touch, getting them to blend smoothly just within the pencils themselves. I still think that they came out very cute, and I like how the coloring went, but it was not easy to get the results that I got. The metallics, again, were really easy to use. They were very soft. I supplemented them with white, gray, and black soft touch, but I felt that they behaved better, the 3 of them. I mean, that set. I used 2 metallics, the Cretacolor and the Castle Arts. So that it was a dozen of the Cretacolor, which are the big chunky metallics, then 48 of the metallics. And though the palette is muted, I still thought that the images came out very nice and not as bright. You know, I like the bright, vibrant colors, but they were, as far as an experience to color with, if you are a person that really likes the tactile feel of coloring more than the coloring itself, then I would try metallics purely for the feel of them. I know there are people that all they do is color with the metallics because they love how they feel, and I see how it is that they end up falling in love with the feel of the metallics. And then we have the boats as the third page that we did, and I decided to use them because each set was its own. I decided to go ahead and color each boat individually, regardless of what I had colored the previous day. The first set, which is the turquoise and gold with the gold dome, was done with Evazar. I don't know what's going on with the lack of availability of the 130 set. The 24 sets are still sold, so I do have in my Amazon shop link that I posted, I have just the 24, but I can see where it is a drop down, and if the 130 ever came available again, it would appear in the listing with the 24. They were a dream. They were soft, nice to work with, had no issues with them. I think the colors came out really well. The peach to red is probably my least favorite color scheme that I came up with. I do like the gold with the browns, and I thought the pots came out cute, and at this point, I had not done any embellishing on this boat and decided to stop because I was over trying to get the soft touch and ended up splattering too much with my Artistro white. I have had then, so let's go back to the metallics. I forgot to mention that with the metallics, being that they are a mica, I could not get, I didn't want to use the acrylic markers, so I brought out the Jelly Roll and the Uniball Signo, and I could not get, you can see here and there is some white, but it was so hard to get the white to stick. And up here I couldn't get anything to stick. So There's a few that worked here, a few dots that worked here, like on the water, but the water is a little more faint, and so I didn't go as thick. This particular one I colored pretty thick and used the Prismacolor colorless blender a little bit on it, so I could not get either the Jelly Roll or the Signo to adhere, and I did not want to use the Artistro because it is too large of dots. And I didn't want the same look that I had over here on the left with the soft touch. So I didn't do any embellishing. So this boat, I opted not to use any embellishing thus far. And the metallic that I did on the gold, I thought was on the dome was great. So I didn't want to mess with that and do any glitter or metallic gel pens. So on this boat, which is the Color 120, let's see if I can find it. I will show you what I used on that. I actually did the embellishing on that yesterday, and I was very pleased with the embellishing. Oh, and it's not here. So the 120, the Color 120 comes with, I don't have it. And I wanted to show you guys because you get with this set that comes in the tube, you get an eraser, not an eraser, you get a sharpener, a colorless blender, which is the Color colorless blender, and you get a gel pen. And I'll be darned if looking around my desk if I just don't see that gel pen. It is a very delicate gel pen. So if I ever find it this next week, I will bring it out for you to see how delicate it is. And I'm going to bring this up here, and I'm going to do a focus. Let's see, that's a little bit out of focus. There we go, in focus. Sorry, that's me messing with it. This particular gel pen did a fantastic job on these Color Black Barrel 120s. But you'll see that it turned pink on the pinks because it's a dye. Sorry, I keep messing with the camera. It actually, with the hot pink, it turned pink, but the blackberry color, it did not turn as pink, and the white, it did not turn the teal. So I thought that was interesting. So I just did little dots, and then I covered all these stitches with lines, and I think it came out really cute. So I did like that. That was a good success. Hey, it focused for me. And then what I did today is episode 113 that you probably will have seen it. It is going to be loaded before this is loaded, and I did not do any embellishing because I did not want to struggle anymore with the fact that I couldn't get the certain gel pens to work. So maybe I will get ambitious. I still have quite a few images that I haven't embellished so far, and one of these days I might get back to them and do some more embellishings. I thought that the colors on this last boat came out well. Each boat, like I said, I just came up with color tones specifically for that boat and just whatever inspired me to pick the colors. I thought this was a very feminine looking boat. It was all based on like the chandelier / umbrella. And I thought pinks would go really nicely with the plants and the ivy greens. I did use like the yellow highlights for the light reflecting onto the plants. I did the same highlight of all these lanterns. I put highlights all on the side, the bottom, and above all of these lanterns lined up, and then I even added the yellow for inside the little cabin. So it was a very productive coloring week for me. 3 pages with as many images as I had to deal with was a lot for me. With this many, having the 35 when dealing with all of these different colors, and such a huge set, I thought that I maintained a good throughput. I managed to not overthink. It wasn't until the end doing the embellishing that I started to overthink it and get frustrated, and so I stopped. because I am supposed to be coloring for fun and relaxation. So if I don't feel it and I'm struggling too much, I just think it's best if I stop. And maybe one day I will be inspired to go back through the book and look for some finishing touches. I didn't even bother with any backgrounds today, or I mean this last week, and I think that is okay. If I'm not feeling it, I'm just not going to dwell on it. So that is all I have for the weekly color review. If you see anything or have thoughts about the sets that I've used, again, Brute Funer 520, Castle Arts Soft Touch, Castle Arts Metallics, and the Cretacolor set of 12 metallics, Evazar, Color 120. I haven't talked much about this, but this was the Color 180, and I talk a lot about that set. I have not even swatched this set. This is the set from eBay that I got my refund on, and I did indeed find that a few of the cores thus far are broken, and so it was a bit of a challenge. So that did kind of add to my stress level, but I knew when going into it today that I would likely encounter some challenges with the cores, and I did. So but the pencils felt good. I felt that, again, the light colors of the browns weren't there. The darks and the middle tones. So the middle tones all tended to merge into like 5 different middle tone tans. They didn't stay in the red browns and then stay in the tan browns. They all ended up turning into tan browns when you got to the medium, the middle to light. And then there were no lights. You had to go into the yellow oranges to find anything. And then I found that one cream was the only cream that I could find. And I did use that to blend out. I even videoed the blending of the bottom here with that pale yellow, and that did work. But again, I missed the tan, the light tan colors. So that's what's missing, I think, in that set of 180. And that's a pretty big set. 180, you should be able to find some nice light tan browns all the way to the pale yellow. But there were gaps. But I still enjoyed it. It was nice to color with the different color sets. I really like the Black Barrel set. I do think that quality-wise, the Black Barrel set feels like the pigments are a little more vibrant and more consistent. And that, again, was a set of 120. The ones that are in the chameleon tube. Again, that's everything I've got. Let me know if you have any input to my 3 pages of coloring. I love to hear from everybody. Do all the YouTube things, like, share, comment, and consider subscribing. And next week, we are just going to press on. I do have a thing. I had promised Hub that I would take the weekend off to play a game with him. It's a game we've played forever, and there's a new special version of the game out that has something to do, and he has asked. I believe that the game drops the 16th. Today is the 12th, so that makes sense that he wants me. So I will probably not be coloring past or putting up a video past Friday, and I might go ahead and do a shortened weekly review of what I have done through the first 4 days of the week, Monday through Thursday. If I get to it, I'll even put the weekly review up Thursday night. I don't see why I can't do that. I have not looked ahead. I am not allowing myself to turn that boat page over to see what's on the other side because I don't want to know right now. I will hit that tomorrow with the daily color, and I would love for you to join me. I'll see you then.